Hello, everyone. The DUI guy here. Um, I wanted to let you guys in on a little something that I've been thinking about in light of recent events. By the way, sorry, I have to be wearing these special glasses because of my LASIK surgery yesterday. So I apologize for that. But I've been kind of sitting on the sidelines watching this unfold, and I don't normally get involved when it comes to um, these sorts of things. I mean, I like to help out, reach a helping hand whenever I can, like I did with Nick. Um, I reached out to Rob indirectly, just commenting on his posts. But essentially, I want to talk about censorship. Okay. Censorship is a very, very dangerous thing, as we all know. And what recently has happened with Nick Rekieta, what has happened with Rob Guviera. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Rob. I love you, man, and I could never pronounce it properly. And those two are just going to be the tip of the iceberg. I have a very sneaking suspicion. I'm kind of like Nick, just a little bit in that regard. I can see into the future. I can see where this is heading. And I wanted to make this video, and I'm live, by the way, so you all feel free to jump in the comments. I'll be addressing those if they are going to be relevant to this discussion. But this is what I want to talk about: censorship and how dangerous it is. Recently, as we saw two incidents very recently. We saw Nick Rekieta having a mass flagging campaign trigger a suspension of his entire fucking channel. Now, that is unprecedented, at least as far as I'm concerned. I have never seen anything of that magnitude before. Same with Rob. He said some things that YouTube did not, quote unquote, like or approve of, and his channel was shut down for a brief period, or he couldn't go live. He was suspended, right? Now, both of them are back, thank goodness. Why? Because of you all, because of the voices of the people, okay? Let's face it, and I'm an attorney. I'm part of the legal community, obviously. And I know firsthand that the majority of lawyers are cowards. It's true, but it's not a bad thing. It is completely understandable why. Attorneys are terrified of a lot of things, and I'll tell you why. Attorneys, not all of them, by the way, attorneys have gone through 4 years of undergrad, then they go through 3 years of law school. Then they sit for the bar. They pass the bar. Now they're subject to this entity that can take away their license at any moment. God forbid they step to the left or to the right, or they do something wrong. So a lot of attorneys are absolutely petrified of veering a little bit to the left or to the right, lest everything they've worked for will be taken away in an instant. But those are attorneys who don't understand the rules of the game. Those are attorneys who don't understand where the line is, what you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say. And that's understandable, okay? If you don't know where the line is, of course, you're going to be afraid to cross at any point, anywhere, everywhere. One example comes to mind from recent memory is an attorney suspecting that another attorney's conduct in the courtroom is going to trigger something by their own bar association 1,000, 5,000 miles away. It's insanity. But that just shows to us other lawyers that they do not understand the rules of the game, and they're just pussyfooting around any tiny little issue because they're scared. They're scared for their own skin. Now we have a At least two, and there will be more to come. Attorneys and non-attorneys. This is not just attorneys. This is content creators in general who will say things that other people, are you ready for it, are not going to like. Now, here's the terrifying point, okay? YouTube is a corporation that belongs to Google, and Google is so big. I think Google is probably big enough to probably buy like the eastern half of the United States. Probably, I don't know. They're probably the biggest corporation that we have right now and have ever had in the history of the world. And they run this, sub company that they purchased a few years ago called YouTube. YouTube is not a monarchy. YouTube is not its own country. YouTube is subject to the laws of whatever country you are watching YouTube from. So the problem arises when you have somebody who says something that, let's say, YouTube does not like, and you censor that individual personally as a company, you are eroding the basic precept of the United States Constitution, which is rooted in the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech. And by God, YouTube, as much as you would, I'm sure, like to imagine that you are bigger than freedom of speech, you are not. You are not more powerful than the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution, as long as you are streaming from the United States, is the governing body of law for the whole land. So when you take a content creator on your platform and you take away a person's voice, now be careful. If they are doing something of a criminal nature, that is going to be completely justified. You are not allowed to, for example, incite riots. You cannot advocate for the commission of crimes. You cannot tell people to go out and commit crimes. You cannot be a supporter of crime. You cannot tell people to go out and do things that are against the law. That is obvious. That is understandable, and it is in your community guidelines. But you also have another subsect of your community guidelines, YouTube, and that is called misinformation. And by the way, a few months ago, I remember, you know me, I post a lot of memes on YouTube. For those of you that know me, thank you, Jessica. Okay, cool. I don't know who Cool Frog is, but there you go. There's another one. I'm not familiar with this one. I'm sorry. I will look into it. But misinformation. And again, I understand you are a entity. You're providing an opportunity for people to have a platform to speak their mind. Now, there is such a thing as called shadow banning. I personally have been a victim and probably will be a victim again after this video is going to do its rounds of shadow banning. When I was posting memes, like funny memes about Trump and Biden, oh my God, I was shadow banned faster than I could imagine. My subscriber base, I remember, was doing this, and then eventually it kind of almost flatlined. It was literally barely crawling, and I think I'm kind of still there. Maybe it's my shitty content. I don't know. Whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, this is the problem when corporations are run by people who have an opinion, and now they use that opinion that they personally hold. This is a personal opinion of somebody who works at YouTube and goes, you know what? I don't like that. I'm going to take them down for a day, a week, a month, forever, whatever it may be. That is absolutely terrifying. And it's even worse when something like what happened to Nick Rekieta can happen to anyone. Just because a group of individuals shows up and says, you know what, we're going to organize. This is, by the way, in my mind, that's a crime. That is targeted fucking harassment of the nth degree, to collectively underground. I mean, it's almost like a terrorist act when you really think about it. Underground, to gather in a Discord channel and say, hey, we're all like-minded people. Let's, at such and such time on such and such day, come in and fucking hammer this individual down so that YouTube takes them down. That goes above and beyond. Now you're violating the United States Constitution when you do that. And when YouTube participates in that violation of the Constitution, the freedom of speech of individual content creators, and it is unfortunate we don't have like a constitution police, so it is left up to us, the people, to speak out against censorship. Because if we don't do it now, it is going to get progressively worse every day of our lives. So this needs to be addressed. Now, how do we address it? Well, first of all, I am at least trying to get the ball rolling. This is why I'm putting my balls in the vice and telling you to go ahead, fucking spin that, squeeze it, bring on the pain. I'm willing to be the sacrificial lamb if you want to make me into one. I don't care. Because what I'm seeing is much bigger than myself. It is much bigger than my own personal interest. This is the interest of 330 million American citizens. And I sat by and I watched and I supported the content creators that were being censored. I supported the people who are being silenced. And I sat by and I wondered, you know, I was wanting to make this video sooner. I didn't know exactly how I'm going to style it. So I said, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to come out and say it. Because this needs to be out there. Because if not me, then who? That was my question. If I'm not going to start the conversation, then who is? It's really good. It's really good to see that Nick got his channel back. Rob got his channel back. But the fact is that the strikes are still there. And what I mean by that, I don't mean the YouTube strikes. I mean the strikes against YouTube itself are there. And that was strike 2, possibly strike 3. I don't know, with Bullfrog being censored. Like I said, that's something new. Liberty Cause says content creators need to start using other platforms in parallel, help grow those other platforms. I wholeheartly disagree. I know it's obviously a solution, but it's a temporary and, in my opinion, the wrong solution. For individual content creators, it's the right solution, because now even if they're banned on one platform, they get to stream on another platform. That is understandable. A lot of content creators, I'm not one of them, rely on these platforms for 100% of their revenue or close to that. So I understand that. But I think that's the chicken move. That's the let me run away from the platform that is banning me and go somewhere else, because I think the solution lies from within. And now the question becomes, how do we fight against censorship? Well, we already have. And I really like what I've been seeing. I know Fair and Balanced, shout out to you for helping out Rob. Apparently she made a call to action and everybody rallied together. She rallied the troops. So shout out to you, Farron. Holy shit. When Rob got banned, or excuse me, when Nick got banned, Legal Mindset, Andrew rallied the troops, fucking went balls to the wall. Props to you, man. And that's what we need to keep doing. That is the only way that we could send a message to a corporation that can buy every single one of us 100,000 times over. Because these corporations are going to continue to rise in power, in wealth, popularity, and we need to continue to fight against censorship. This year, if you all have seen this has literally been almost like the year of defamation trials, the year of the First Amendment. 2022 is proving to be such a year. We had the Johnny Depp trial, we had Alex Jones trials. They're all about, I mean, look, when you say things that are hurting other people, they're going to come after you. That's fine. But when you're speaking your opinion, when you're going up against groups of people that are collectively aiming to take you down, the only way to fight back is with equal or opposite strength. Look at basically look at the laws. Just basic laws will tell you you are allowed to fight back with equal or opposite strength. Like don't bring a knife to a gunfight, right? Because you'll get slaughtered, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to get my opinion out there because I've not spoken about this issue before so openly. I've supported, like I said, content creators um, such as Nick and Rob, who in recent past have both within the last 2 weeks, literally within almost a week and a half. And if you look at YouTube's community guidelines, a lot of these things make absolute sense. Why? Because they are directly linked to laws for the most part. You know, impersonating someone, scamming, spamming, nudity, sexual content, uh, fake engagement, child safety, harassment, and cyberbullying. A lot of these are understandable policies, and they directly align with respective laws in each respective jurisdiction. Primarily, I'm talking about the United States because this is where I reside, and this is where this has all been happening. But this is not limited to the United States. I mean, some countries who don't have the First Amendment, they're going to have a much rougher time with companies like YouTube and Google. But here it is. When it comes to this quote unquote misinformation policies, that's where it gets really hazy. Election misinformation, general misinformation, COVID-19 misinformation, vaccine misinformation, they're extremely loose. They're extremely vague. And laws get struck for vagueness and inability to interpret them properly. So I urge every single one of you to continue the fight against censorship, to fight against companies such as YouTube when they take away content creators' voices, when they take away the ability of individuals to speak their mind freely, as long as they're not violating the laws, not policies, because policies, as we all know, can be made up. I mean, look at the policy that PayPal brought in and took away ever so quickly not that long ago. We're going to start charging you money if you say shit we don't like. Are you kidding me? That was one of the most insane things I have ever witnessed as an individual, let alone an American citizen. Forget about that. As a human being, I'm going to say something, and a company that doesn't like what I say is going to take my money away from me? Are you kidding me? I don't think it was a mistake. I think they tested something out and realized, oh boy, this is not going to work. Duh. Welcome to reality, PayPal. Censorship is dangerous because if you don't allow people to speak their mind lest it hurts someone else's feelings within the company that is instituting the platform, it is only downhill from there. And we have had our warning flags this year, this month, this couple of weeks. For me personally, I know it happened before. I know this is not new, but it's going to continue to get worse unless we watch it and help support the content creators that are getting silenced. And look at what YouTube did to both Rob and Nick after people came out in support of both of them. They brought them back. Why? Because YouTube realized they were in the wrong. But the key is to try and prevent it on the front end as much as we can, whenever possible. I know it's not always going to be easy, but at least we can start there. Because if we collectively, as United States citizens, can help in any way, shape, or form against censorship, that is going to make the world a better place, that is going to make our children's world a better place, our children's children, and so on and so forth for generations ad infinitum. Because if we don't stop companies such as YouTube from taking away people's voices wrongfully, that's the key word, wrongfully taking away people's voices, then it is only going to escalate or downgrade, however you want to call it, from there. So I wanted to thank you for joining me. I really wanted to get this off my chest. I really wanted to finally speak my mind about all of this. I sat quietly for a long time. I know it may seem like out of the blue, like, Larry, did you get monetized? Like, what happened? What did you do? Nothing happened other than YouTube silencing creators wrongfully. And I finally wanted to speak my mind. So I really thank you for joining me, and I will see you all in the next video, hopefully with a much lighter note, not so somber as it has been here today. Thank you very much.